known English patchwork quilt dates back to the start of the 18th century, but the history of quilting reaches much further back than that. One of the earliest examples is a carved ivory figure of a pharaoh of the Egyptian First Dynasty, wearing a supposedly quilted mantle. Today, quilting has reached a level of art. In addition to hand-sewn traditional patterns, many quilters use their quilts as a personal or political statement. One such person is Mandy Shaw. Good to see you, Mandy.
Hello.
Now, you do something particular with quilts. You do celebratory quilts, don't you?
That's right, yes.
Tell us what they are.
Well, they're quilts that sort of depict memories of things that have happened. There have been quilts and pictures in the past depicting history and royal events and things. And I thought I'd like to do that for my family. So later on we've got a history pictured in quilts.
So you brought some along with us today. So let's have a look at this one in between.
Oh, this is my my daughter's quilt. When she left her secondary school, junior school to go to secondary school, I thought we had a big party, and I thought it'd be nice for the teachers and her friends to sign the quilt for her. And all the little blocks mean something to us as a family.
So tell us roughly sort of what
well, this is a schoolhouse block, obviously representing her school. We have the Noah's Ark there, which her dad made her a Noah's Ark when she was a baby. These are her badges from school, her captain, she's a librarian and a captain for her sports.
And I see there are signatures and little messages all over it, aren't
yes. We've got a little message here to Abby, wishing you good luck for the future in all you do. Love from Katie.
So how old is this quilt now?
3 or 4 years old. But
well, the lovely thing is she'll be able to keep it
absolutely
until well,
yeah.
forever.
Yeah,
forever.
absolutely. Yes.
That's lovely. All right, let's move on to the next one. The one in the middle there, the Australia quilt. That doesn't look quilted to me.
No, it is quilted, but it's called a plique, when you place one piece of fabric on top of another and sew it down.
Right.
So it is actually a quilt because it's 3 layers of fabric put together.
So that's the definition of a quilt?
Yes.
3 layers of fabric?
Yeah, put together with a stitch.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us the history behind this.
Well, we decided to have an adventure. Went to Australia for 6 weeks as a family. We saved really hard for about a year to go there. And we went backpacking, we flew, we went by train, and we had such fun that I'd hate the girls to forget it. So I thought, when we came back, I thought, right, I'm going to make a wall hanging, and this is what turned out. It's all the little things that happened to us are around the outside of the map of Australia.
It must have taken ages. It's so detailed.
Well, I did get a bit obsessive about it, in between cooking and I'd be sewing.
How long did it take, do you think?
Oh, well, 3 or 4 months.
Oh, a long time.
Yeah, it was, but it was worth it. You know, the kids still remember things now, and they say, where were we when? Where do we have the ice cream and things? And we can always relate to the map, so it's lovely.
Are there particular things on the map that really bring back memories?
Oh, well, we camped in tents outside the base of Ayers Rock, and we were sitting around the campfire one night and we were talking about the dingo baby case, and we were asleep. We put the kids in the tent, and the dingoes came, and the noise is unbelievable the dingoes make. And so that was really quite exciting. So there's a dingo on that map as well, just a little dingo there to represent that.
And there's some wild water or white water.
Oh, we went whitewater rafting. It was an off-the-cuff thing we did, should we or shouldn't we? And it was spectacular, the adrenaline, you know. And the river tasted so sweet. We swam down the river. It was just beautiful. It was a wonderful memory, wonderful.
So let's move on now to what do you call the white one there?
Well, this white quilt here is made out of 1930s original feed sack fabric, and this fabric was in the Depression in the 1930s in America. They tried to encourage farmers' wives to buy certain brands of chicken feed, and they would make the sacks out of fabric. And on the fabric, they would often have little patterns how to make knickers or bonnets for the children and things. It's quite poor quality fabric, but it's got a lovely story to say.
So did you go to America, or did you ask someone to send that material over to you?
I was fortunate. I went to an Ascot quilt show, and somebody was selling them. She'd bought it from America, selling the little packs. They were quite expensive, but it's a lovely story that it's worth having, you know.
And that one looks much simpler. Did it take less time to make?
Well, it's totally hand quilted and hand pieced. So it is. I did it over a long period of time, but of course, hand quilting and hand sewing is longer than the machine one. Which is
so you can machine them as well?
Absolutely, absolutely. This day and age, you can, yes.
And something else I must say is that I thought that patchwork quilts and these were to put on the bed.
Well, yes, we've only got 5 beds in our house, you see, and I've got lots more ideas than 5 beds. So
what do you do with them?
I put them on the wall. Every single piece of our wall in our house has got a little quilt on it. If there's a space, the quilt's going to be made for it.
It's lovely, though, because it's a history of your family life.
Nice, yes, it is lovely.
So let's go on to this one over here, the black one. What's this?
Well, a beautiful friend of mine died Christmas Eve 2 years ago, Julia, and she was such a lovely, lovely person. It seemed that I must make a quilt for her. And quilt blocks have names, and the middle of the quilt is called pineapple block, which means hospitality and welcome, which she always welcomed me into her home. She was a darling. And the circles, there's a lovely song at the time, she died, called Circle of Life, and that represents the circle of life. She had a lovely attitude towards living.
Do you have all these ideas yourself? Are they specific quilting techniques?
Well, I scour magazines and books and things, and I take little ideas and make them into my own. So, these are all blocks that are traditional, and then you can adapt them into a quilt however you like.
How do you plan them? I mean, how do you know? Do you see in your mind's eye the kind of pattern that you're going to make?
Yes, you start off with an idea, and then I put a few sketches down. I've just got a few sketches. This is for Julia's quilt. I start off with a couple of sketches and some blocks, perhaps, that I like to make. It's a pineapple block's very nice, and the log cabin. And you start off with a few sketches like this, and then you mark it up onto graph paper and work from graph paper.
It looks much more intricate, though, that one. Is it more difficult to make?
This one isn't a beginner's quilt. It is a little bit more intricate. It's done on foundation papers, which is up-and-coming thing in the patchwork world, but it's still accessible to people who can sew.
Have you got any planned for the future?
Oh, yes. The girls and I adored Diana. We really did. And we're going to make a quilt between us. We will have contribute.
So you've passed it on to the children, then?
Oh, yes. So I'm always asking them, do they like this idea? Is this good? Does this colour work and things? And we went up to see the flowers after school one evening, off the cuff, actually, and to see the flowers at Kensington Palace. And we're going to make a quilt to commemorate Diana.
Oh, that'd be lovely.
Yes, yeah.
And if anyone watching would be interested in doing a similar sort of thing, taking an interest in quilting, what should they do?
Right, your adult education centre is the first place to look. Quite a few centres, especially in the south where I come from, have lots of patchwork evening classes. Right. If not, your local patchwork shop, they run them. And if not, you can phone the Quilters Guild. They're bound to put you in touch with somebody nearby that's a teaching or a patchwork group.
All right, well, Mandy, thank you very much for that.
Thanks a lot.
Do you know, when